Back here with the lesson TCPIP reference model. We'll move further. So as you are seeing now defined by, so this particular reference model has been defined by IETF. So that is the International Engineering Task Force. They have referred this particular this one. Three main features of this particular TCP/IP reference model does not imply strictly layering. So this is very much important. That is, you can bypass the layers. That is, from application layer you can bypass directly to the IP layer for some particular information. That is cross layer communication you can do on a TCP/IP. Coming to the next thing, that is an hourglass shape, wide at the top, narrow in the middle, and wide at the bottom. So IP serves as a focal point for the architecture. As I told you in a previous class that so IP will be a heart of your entire architecture, internet architecture, and it will works in focal point. In order for a new protocol be officially included in the architecture, there needs to be both a protocol specification, at least one representative implementation of the specification. For this, you can add up a new protocols based on a specification which can be adjustable to the IP and other protocols. Coming to the next thing, that is application programming interface. Yeah, this is another one very important thing. Where your second lab program is also there on this particular API. What is a API? For example, I told you that when you want to communicate with two systems or two computers, so you must have some communication knowledge. Both the systems are on a dead machines which works on a zeros and ones, as I told you in a previous. So how information can be passed, then how a communication channel can be established between these two systems, through which particular channel the communication must be done, in what way the communication must be done. For this we need one interface. Through that particular point, I can say like this, this is a system and this is a port point which is there. Through this particular port point I want to communicate with another system. So through this port point, which is other system which is communicated, and how an interface has been arranged between these two ports. So for this, to know this, for your software, means operating system, we need APIs. For example, we'll bring one new device, assume, and I want to connect the device to my system or on a computer. Then we need to install the device driver for that particular device. What is the device driver? Yeah, that's a question, right? To make my operating system to understand about that particular device, a API, application programming interface, will be there, which will connect my operating system and that particular device. So like that, interface exported by the network. Since most network protocols are implemented in a software, and nearly all computer systems implemented their new network protocols as a part of the operating system. That means I will tell you like this: host to host communication protocols will be based on that particular port. Remaining all other protocols, all other layer protocols, will be there in an operating system. Application protocol will be there in an application, mainly the IP protocol and TCP protocol will be there in an operating system. So the interface is called the network application programming interface. That means a connectivity between the two systems. That's a port systems. We will call that as an APIs. Coming to the next thing, that now socket. This is a one important word which you must know. Socket interface was originally provided by the Berkeley distribution of Unix. So means Berkeley University first, while on Unix operating system, they introduced this particular socket interfacing. What do you mean by this socket interfacing? A socket is the one which will have an instructions and the protocols set suit will be there in that particular thing, which makes to connect with other particular system. Each protocol provides a certain set of services, and the API provides a syntax by which those services can be invoked in this particular operating system. What an API actually will do, will invoke that particular protocols which are there in an operating system. As I told in a previous, that in an operating system there will be a protocols of that particular layers, so we have to invoke that, right? So we have to invoke that, and we have to make a layer architecture, and we have to connect through port, and we have to connect to the other devices. These things will be done by this particular socket programming. Now, coming to the back here, before going to the performance, we'll know more about a socket programming. There will be two socket, means always a network will works in the way as I told you, that client and server architecture, right? That is reply and request concept. This particular sockets will also work. That means, is assume that a server system is there and a client system is there. Client system will run a client socket, server system will be there within a server socket. That is, server socket will be there always in a running stage. So the client socket will request whatever the thing is needed, it will request to that particular server socket, and through the server socket the communication will be done. That means the client socket first it will request, the server socket will be there, means which is on always, it will keep on listening, and then it will takes that into the listening. Once the request has been listened, if the server is free, then what server will do, server will respond to that particular request. Once the response has been came to the client that yes you can connect, then what this client will do, I assume that a client wants one particular file, so client will ask for that particular file. I want this particular file contents, so that should be sent, that data, that file name should be sent, must be sent from the client socket to that particular server socket. Once it has been gone, the server socket now accepts, the word accept is important, accepts the information or a connection, and it will receive that particular file name. After accepting the connection, it will receive that particular information. Once information has been received from the server again what it will do, it will collect the data, it will check whether that file is there. Once the file is there, the data will be retrieved from that particular file. Again the server will send back the data to the client. In this way the client socket and server socket communication will be done. Now we in next session we'll go with a lab program, and I will discuss each and every instruction of that particular lab program. From this next onwards, means everyone, I think you are having an C program with you, you can go practically with that particular programs, which the programs I will send through the WhatsApp or a mail to you. You practice that particular programs, the second lab program, right? Thank you very much.